My brother treated me like his free babysitter, so I let the police explain why that wasn't my job. I never planned to watch my brother get arrested in front of his entire sales team, but after 2 years of being treated like an on-call nanny, with no say in the matter, I finally reached my breaking point. From the moment I started working from home as a freelance graphic designer, my older brother Evan treated my schedule as infinitely flexible and entirely at his disposal. In his mind, freelancer translated to unemployed and available 24/7. It began with occasional emergencies. Panter's wife Jennifer worked hospital shifts as a nurse, and childcare for 3 kids under 8 is undeniably expensive. But what started as genuine emergencies quickly evolved into a pattern of exploitation. Evan would text at 6:30 a.m. that the kids were sick and already on my porch. The promise to be back in an hour regularly stretched into 6 or 7. I lost 2 major accounts after children burst into my home office during pitch meetings. When I mentioned these problems, Evan would dismiss them with a casual, "Thanks, sis," and a thumbs-up smick. The betrayal cut deeper when Jennifer thanked me for volunteering to watch the kids twice weekly. Pertinently, Evan had told her I'd happily offered my services, print out a conversation that never happened. Everything changed when I was selected as a finalist to design Apuyo for a major content creator Printer, the kind of contract that could transform my freelance hustle into a legitimate career. The final round required flying to North Carolina for an in-person interview. When I told Evan about this opportunity 3 weeks in advance, he dismissed it as little art projects that could wait. I noticed his quarterly sales presentation was scheduled for the same morning as my flight, and his smirk told me he was already planning to dump his kids on my doorstep. For once, I didn't argue. Instead, I made a plan the night before my flight. I left for the airport at 4 a.m., leaving my house completely dark. By 5:30 a.m., I was seated at my gate, watching my Ring doorbell app. At 6:47 a.m., I watched as Evan's minivan pulled into my empty driveway. The temperature was 38 degrees that February morning. My car was visibly absent, but Evan didn't notice. 3 small children in pajamas climbed out and trudged toward my porch while he immediately drove away. The second his taillights disappeared, I called 911 to report children abandoned in freezing weather. Then I called Jennifer, who was just ending her night shift, to ask if Evan had told her about the drop-off. The police found Evan 45 minutes into his presentation and pulled him out in front of his entire team. They arrested him for child abandonment and endangerment. His protests about a misunderstanding fell flat when officers pointed out he'd left 3 young children unsupervised in freezing weather. Evan was fired that day, and Jennifer filed for separation that weekend after learning I'd never volunteered for any regular childcare arrangement. Now Evan texts me constantly claiming I ruined his life. I replied only once that he ruined his own life when he left 3 children on an empty porch without checking if anyone was home. Jennifer and I have grown closer. I now help with the kids several times a week, pair on my terms with advance notice and with genuine appreciation for my time. Meanwhile, Evan gets 2 supervised visits a month but routinely misses them for work stuff. I don't regret my actions. I regret that it took such extreme measures for my time and career to be respected. Sometimes setting boundaries isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about forcing others to confront the reality they've been avoiding at your expense.